Next up, we have a Fist favorite returning to the stage. Coming up, we have Diana Corrales Yaramillo. Yes, my sentiments exactly. She is the proud daughter of a Mexican family and the devoted keeper of two very spoiled cats. Please welcome back, Diana.
When I was 20, I dropped out of college and moved to Switzerland. It wasn't some grand plan. My cousin called and asked if I wanted to go. I said yes, without hesitation. But the truth is, I already knew Switzerland. Years before, I had been to Europe on a month-long tour, and 2 of those days were in Switzerland. 2 days. 2 days that ended with me standing on a rainy mountaintop, soaked through, promising myself, I'll be back. I didn't know how, I didn't know when. I just knew that something in that place had recognized something in me. So when I was failing college, working at JCPenney, folding sweaters under fluorescent lights while everyone else seemed to be becoming someone, and my cousin asked if I wanted to go, I didn't think. I said yes. Because I wasn't just leaving, I was keeping a promise to a younger version of myself. People said I was brave. No one asked what I was running from, and I wouldn't have known how to explain that I wasn't running from a person. I was running from the version of me who felt small. Switzerland was green in a way that felt unreal. Leaves burned gold and copper before falling. Mountains glittered with snow. The trains ran on time. Children rode buses alone to school, small backpacks, no fear. Doors were left unlocked, windows open. Safety lived in the air there. You could taste it. In Switzerland, you have to buy official tags for your trash bags. If you don't, they won't take them. Your garbage just sits outside your building. Public, rejected. I remember thinking, you can cross an ocean and still not know the rules. Then there was the bread. Try explaining soft in a bakery without language. I did. I mimed pillows. I got the hardest, thinnest loaf in existence. It cut the roof of my mouth when I bit into it. I stood outside chewing and bleeding a little and thought, maybe this is what reinvention tastes like. Beautiful but sharp. I nannied American girls there, small, stubborn, brilliant girls who built castles out of blocks and conducted elaborate ceremonies over sand piles like they were officiating destiny. They became mine in the way children do, quietly, without contract. Excuse me. We rode trains from town to town just because we could. I sat for hours on a wooden fishing dock while they chased ducks. I pushed a stroller past lakes that looked painted. And for the first time in my life, I felt peace. Not ambition, not performance, not becoming, just breath. On my last days there, I went into a church. This was before anger complicated my relationship with God. I was thanking him for mountains and safety and the way chocolate tasted like devotion. And a woman sat next to me. She spoke Spanish, soft, slow Spanish. We talked about migration, about language, about belonging. Before we parted, she asked me where I was from. I said, I was born in the United States. My family is Mexican. And then I said, but my heart belongs to Switzerland. I meant it. There is a particular ache in loving a place that was never meant to keep you. Visa expired, time ran out, so I left. California came next. Same girls, different coast. We climbed into hammocks, all elbows and knees and tangled hair, and lay under the sun until the ropes creaked. I slept with my windows open. We left doors unlocked. I walked alone without calculating risk. And then one day, the safety ended. The windows that once stayed open began to feel like exposure. I started checking the locks twice. I stopped walking alone. I won't describe the rest, just know that something entered the room that had not been invited. And when safety leaves, so do I. I went back to school, back home, back to Tucson, back to the desert heat that presses against your ribs in July, back to broken roads and cinder block houses that have stood longer than doubt, back to sunsets so violent and pink they make you forgive the day, back to family, back to familiarity, back to everyone knowing your name before you open your mouth. The desert does not let you disappear, it remembers you. Back to tightness, back to promises to be practical. Get good grades, choose something stable, make something of yourself. But something else happened there too. I fell in love with writing, with the way words could hold breath, with queer stories that felt like mirrors I wasn't brave enough to look into for far too long. When I finally came out in my 30s, I learned another version of leaving. My mother knows. She loves me, but she is afraid. So in certain rooms, my queerness becomes an omission. I am edited not because I am ashamed, but because she is scared. There's a particular ache in being loved privately, and fear travels. It crosses borders, it folds itself into paperwork, it lingers in conversations about keeping things quiet. I carry my passport in my wallet now, not for romance, not for rebellion, because of ICE. Because I've watched how quickly a last name can become a question, how quickly paperwork becomes power, how quickly a knock at the door can rearrange a family. I carry it because my mother taught me to be ready, because preparedness feels safer than hope. Movement has always felt like protection. Leaving has always felt like control. I stayed in teaching longer than anywhere else, until budget cuts. There's something brutal about being told you matter, but not enough to keep. My 7th and 8th graders carried lives far heavier than their backpacks. They came into my classroom with court dates and siblings to raise and grief they didn't have language for yet. They trusted me with stories they didn't tell at home. Their voices are littered through my manuscripts. Their laughter, their anger, their unfinished sentences. They are the reason I know how to sit still when someone is unraveling. They are the reason I believe in tenderness. They changed me. And then the funding disappeared, so I ran again. Master's program. Therapy, healing, meaning. Sitting across from someone and saying, I'm here, tell me. It is sacred, it is majestic, it is all-encompassing. I love the community, I love their stories, I love being trusted with the worst day of someone's life. There is nothing casual about holding someone's grief in your hand. And I'm good at it. But here is what I don't say out loud and often enough. Sometimes I fall asleep hoping I will wake up in the safety of Switzerland. Sometimes I close my eyes and imagine trains running on time, children riding buses without fear, doors left unlocked, windows open. Sometimes I want the version of me that stood on that rainy mountaintop back before everything felt fragile. My heart is restless, not because I don't care, but because I don't know if I'm meant to stay here. If you line up my life, it looks ambitious, but stripped down, it sounds like this. Every time something roots, I loosen the soil. Every time something feels permanent, I check the exits. I have crossed oceans, changed careers, rewritten myself. And here is the part that scares me to say out loud. I am very good at leaving. I'm afraid of never finding a harbor. I'm afraid my life will become a series of temporary encampments. I'm afraid I will have to move again because of the state of this country. I'm afraid of never knowing myself fully. Sometimes I still wish my cousin would call me again, offer me another out, another mountain, another version of myself waiting somewhere else. And maybe one day he will. But I'm starting to wonder if the harbor I am looking for is not another country. Maybe it's a version of me that doesn't keep a suitcase half packed. Maybe it's a version of me that doesn't fall asleep hoping to wake up somewhere else.